But right at the beginning of the pandemic, we had a restaurant reach out to us. This is a restaurant in New York. Very popular restaurant, and functions as a sort of a neighborhood communal space. And as you can imagine, after 3 months, when we still thought it was going to be like 3 or 4 months long, right? They were like, "Oh, we're going to maybe getting to the end of this, but maybe we can reopen soon." They said, "Could you help us redesign our space? Could you help design the space in a way that reduced the potential of contagion of a virus, so it couldn't transmit so easily?" So, wow, that's a really interesting problem, because how are we going to evaluate something for virus transmission? How are we going to be able to, again, create this cycle of being able to guess a solution and try it out? So it just so happened, at the time that they reached out to us, we were doing an experiment in our Toronto research lab. And this is actually in my lab up in Toronto, and we were placing cameras and sensors all over our space and measuring airflow, we were measuring temperature, we were measuring how people walked and behaved in that space. And then we were putting that into an AI that learned all those behaviors, and it was able to couple that AI with fluid dynamics as well. So it was able to understand how the air moved around the spaces and how these two things bounced off each other. It was able to simulate how touching surfaces patterned out over the day. How many people touched the surface? Who touched it later? What was the congregation pattern? Given all that information, we were able to redesign the restaurant. We used those same models then to understand the behaviors inside the restaurant, to design a custom roof structure that allowed the air, much like the way an airplane works, to bring the air very, very efficiently from the bottom up and outwards through these chimney structures on top of the restaurant. So again, these are designs that you typically would never have come up with if you didn't have these AI evaluators that were able to actually go from real-world data that it can actually experience how people actually behave. And we're complicated things. We're people. We do weird stuff, right? AI can actually understand that.